Hello, I'm Bob the Booker and welcome to my channel. Today is just me quickly revisiting the Eurovision reading challenge that I'm doing this year. And so just as a quick recap, I think it was something I started, was it last year? I think it was last year. The person outside agrees. And the whole idea was basically marrying together two of my favourite interests, so reading and Eurovision, and with the idea basically being that you take whichever countries got into the top 10 from that year's Eurovision, and then reading a book from each of those countries. And so with the top 10, I then reached out on a little video, and thank you all so much, because there were some absolutely fantastic suggestions in there, especially from so many authors who I've never heard of, and or ones that I've been meaning to try for a while as well. So the really, I think, interesting thing about it all for me has been realizing how poorly read I am within some countries in Europe. That I think it's so easy to just not really end up reading any books from a country that's surprisingly near you. So actually, as a result, there were so many last year that I think, it was like, this is the first Swedish book I may be ever reading, or the first whatever, So anyway, and Sweden being doing always very well in the contest, it has to be said, means that I pretty much will be reading Swedish books until the day I die, I think, at this rate, which is not a bad thing. But with that in mind, here are the books that I'm going to be reading. I'll put them all sort of more properly in the description of this video, with kind of the translators and everything where appropriate. But I'll just do a very quick whistle-stop tour through this. For some of these, this is the author. This is my notebook. It's the author because I'm just sort of seeing what I can find that's available from the library. Also, I should add, there's absolutely no pressure or hurry with this if you are taking part. I'm fully planning that most of these will take place just at some point in the year, at some point maybe before next Eurovision. So absolutely no pressure to have to complete these in a certain time, or even to have to complete them. So there we go. With that disclaimer out of the way, here are the books that I'm planning on reading as part of this. And so those books are as follows. And I've got my notebook and kind of computer going at this all together. So let's try. So first up for Sweden, the winners, Selma Lagerlöf with the Saga of Gösta Berling. Again, that was pretty much the only Selma Lagerlöf one I could find, so that's kind of why I went for it. For Finland, Memory of Water by Emmi, Itäranta. Israel, David Grossman, A Horse Walks into a Bar. Italy, Primo Levi, who have been wanting to read for a really long time, with Periodic Table, because again, that's one of the only ones I could easily find. I'm sure some of his other work is also really worth checking out, so I'll have a look at those. Norway, I kind of cheated because I had a couple of really good suggestions. Well, actually multiple, and I'm just hoping that Norway does really well so I can do some of those in future ones. But Norway, I've got Lars Mitting, and I'm going to try and read whatever I can find of his. But then also two that I'm kind of cheating with a little bit because they're ones that I had lying around that I kind of wanted to read, which is Hanne Ørstavik's Ti Amo, and Jon Fosse's Melancholy 1 and 2. So there we go. For Ukraine, we have DVIJKA with DVIJKA, sort of a collective with Queer Ukraine, the one I mentioned before. So a set of narratives and sort of submissions from LGBTQ plus Ukrainian people, which should be really interesting. Then Belgium, Marguerite Yourcenar, and that is her book, Memoirs of Hadrian, which I'm quite excited for, and was a lovely suggestion from Anne Novella. We then have Estonia, and we have Jan Kaplinski, his selected poems, which should be really cool. Peter Carey, repping for Australia with Oscar and Lucinda. Some really other good Australian recommendations were in those comments. So I'm going to have a little look and try and see if I can find any of those as well. Because this is the thing, I mean, there are no rules. I might just read more than one of some of these if I feel like it, because why not? And then for Czechia, Ivan Klima with My Merry Mornings, Stories from Prague. And so I think those will be the ones I read, and those will also be a bit of a a stepping off point. So it might well be that as I'm reading them, I'm like, wow, how much, I just love this author so much. Let's do more. That happened last year with Portugal, where it was Jose Saramago. I read Blindness, which I absolutely loved, and then went and read Seeing by him as well. So take this as a very gentle nudge if you want to take part in it. You do not have to go the whole 9 yards and do like a big, huge thing for all of this, unless you really want to, in which case, knock yourself out, do it. But keep it nice and easy. I'm really intrigued to hear people's thoughts. I've already seen that I've been tagged by a couple of other booktubers about it, which I'm slowly catching up with because I am very, very behind on everything in life at the moment. So I will catch up on those, but really excited to hear about them. Please do send me your lists if you're taking part. I'd love to hear them. And yeah, happy reading and happy Eurovision. I hope you're dealing with the post-Eurovision blues, however works best for you. I'm largely just listening to Kylie Minogue, which does the job. But anyway, take care and speak to you all soon. Bye-bye.